Q8239. An aircraft dispatcher declares an emergency for a flight and a deviation results. A written report shall be sent through the air carrier's operations manager by the A. Dispatcher to the FAA Administrator within 10 days of the event. B. Certificate holder to the FAA Administrator within 10 days of the event. C. Pilot in command to the FAA Administrator within 10 days of the event. The correct answer is A. Within 10 days of the emergency date, the aircraft dispatcher who declared it must make a written notice of any deviation to the administrator via the air carrier's Director of Operations. 8725. Bird strikes in flight will be reported to the A. Nearest state or federal wildlife office on company letterhead. B. FAA on an FAA Form 5207. C. Nearest FSS via telephone. The correct answer is B. Bird strikes in flight are typically reported to the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, on an FAA Form 5207. This form is specifically designed for reporting wildlife strikes, including bird strikes, to the appropriate aviation authorities. The form collects essential information about the incident, such as the location, date, time, aircraft involved, and details of the bird strike. Reporting bird strikes helps the aviation industry and regulatory authorities track and analyze these incidents, identify potential risk areas, and develop strategies to mitigate the risk of bird strikes. 8020, which is a requirement for flight crew use of oxygen masks in a pressurized cabin airplane. A. Both pilots at the controls shall use oxygen masks above FL 350. B. At altitudes above 25,000 feet MSL, if one pilot leaves the pilot duty station, the remaining pilot at the controls shall use an oxygen mask. C. At altitudes above FL 250, one of the two pilots at the controls shall use an oxygen mask continuously. The correct answer is B. In a pressurized cabin airplane, it is a requirement that at altitudes above 25,000 feet MSL, mean sea level, if one pilot leaves the pilot duty station, the remaining pilot at the controls shall use an oxygen mask. This ensures that the pilot at the controls has a continuous supply of oxygen to maintain their physiological well-being and prevent hypoxia, which can occur at high altitudes. The use of oxygen masks in this scenario helps to ensure the safety and performance of the pilot during critical phases of flight. 8022, which is a requirement for pilot use of oxygen in a pressurized airplane. A. The pilot at the controls shall use oxygen continuously any time the cabin pressure altitude is more than 12,000 feet MSL. B. At FL 250 and above, each pilot shall have an approved quick-donning oxygen mask. C. At FL 250 and above, the pilot at the controls must have an approved oxygen mask any time the other pilot is away from the duty station. The correct answer is A. In unpressurized aircraft, each pilot is required to use oxygen continuously when flying, at altitudes above 10,000 feet through 12,000 feet MSL for the duration exceeding 30 minutes. Above 12,000 feet MSL. For pressurized aircraft, whenever the cabin pressure altitude is above 10,000 feet MSL, both pilots must comply with the rules applicable to unpressurized aircraft. When a pressurized airplane is operated above 25,000 feet MSL, both pilots are required to have a quick-donning type oxygen mask. Additionally, one pilot of a pressurized aircraft must wear an oxygen mask whenever the aircraft is flown above 35,000 feet MSL. Furthermore, if the other pilot leaves the duty station, one pilot must wear an oxygen mask above a flight altitude of 25,000 feet MSL. 8055. The two pilot stations of a pressurized aircraft are equipped with approved quick-donning oxygen masks. What is the maximum altitude authorized if one pilot is not wearing an oxygen mask and breathing oxygen? A. 41,000 feet MSL. B. 35,000 feet MSL. C. 25,000 feet MSL. The correct answer is B. Anytime a pressurized aircraft is flown over 35,000 feet MSL, one of the pilots is required to wear an oxygen mask.